This is a 2-valve 4.6, and it has a problem: rev hang. At least that's what some people on the internet say. The other day, I watched this video by a creator named 2Valve J.
You can go from this to this,
in which he showed that this idle air control valve restrictor plate can help solve rev hang and make the exhaust naturally pop.
or naturally pop, just like this.
Now, I am always curious and naturally skeptical about cheap modifications. So in today's video, I'll teach you what rev hang is, what an idle air control valve is, and we'll see if this $12 piece of aluminum is beneficial or complete bogus. So what is rev hang? Basically, it is when you instantly close the throttle and the RPM, instead of dropping instantly, takes its time slowly going down. Now, this mostly affects manual cars, because instead of being able to just instantly shift from one gear to the next, you basically have to wait half a second to a second for the RPM to drop into the proper range for you to shift properly. And it also kind of affects me because sometimes I like to show off by putting the car in neutral, giving her a rev, but then I'm stuck waiting for the RPM to drop before I could put it back into drive and go. What is an IAC? It's this right here, an idle air control valve. Basically, what happens is when your throttle is completely shut, this idle air control valve is the only way for air to get into this engine. And it uses this little modulator to send more or less air into the engine to make the car idle at the exact RPM that it's supposed to. Basically acting as a bypass between the intake tube to the intake plenum. These IACs are most commonly found on early fuel-injected cars with a cable-driven throttle body. In modern cars, you have an electric motor on your throttle body which does the opening for you and allows just enough air to get in to make the car run, but engineers had to use IACs for these early ones because, well, there's no motor on the throttle body. And fun fact, if your car is experiencing low idle at RPM or high idle at RPM, it's likely that an IAC is blocked up with carbon and made it stuck open or stuck closed. You could watch this video from Chris Fix. And this is your restrictor plate. It basically goes directly over the hole on the IAC. As you can see, it has a smaller hole than what the IAC has, and as the name suggests, it restricts the amount of air that IAC is allowing inside the engine. The TLDR, basically, with less air, the car can't sustain higher RPMs. And so now it is finally time to install the restrictor plate. We're going to come back here, find our idle air control valve, and unplug the electrical connector, unplug the vacuum line off the back, and there are two 8mm screws on the top and the bottom. Here comes our first screw, and here comes the whole thing. Basically, you're going to take your original gasket, if it is in good shape, replace if it isn't, you'll put it over the IAC. You'll then take your restrictor plate with the small hole facing the output side of the IAC, and you'll put it over that. Then you will take a second gasket and put it in between there. Now take one of your bolts, shove it through all of them, and go ahead and reinstall the idle air control valve just like this. And this is where I'm going to differentiate myself between other creators. I actually data logged the amount of time it took to go from the highest RPM red line back down to 800 RPM idle RPM. In my mind, this gives the restrictor plate the fairest chance in basically telling us if it does anything at all. For no restrictor plate, 10.25 seconds to go from highest RPM to idle, 10 seconds flat, and 9.69 seconds, making an average of 9.98 seconds. With the restrictor plate, it ran 9.61 seconds, 10.05, and 9.08 seconds, which gave me an average of 9.58 seconds. So did it help? Technically, yes, it did cut off 0.4 of a second, but not as much as I was hoping for and certainly not as much as what was advertised. As for making the car sound more poppy, yeah, it definitely did. And I will be completely honest. While rewatching 2-Valve Jake's video and rewatching some other videos, I noticed that my restrictor plate had a bigger hole than all of their restrictor plates, which will affect how much air is being restricted from going into the engine. But to be fair, the one that I have is the one that I got off of 2-Valve Jake's affiliate link. I was able to find another Amazon link with a restrictor plate that looked like theirs. However, it has a 1-week lead time and it should be coming in soon. I'll probably post a short on that if it's any good. And in case the point was lost, this video was about checking to see if that $12 restrictor plate did anything. It is certainly not a video of punching down on other content creators. If you want, check out 2-Valve Jake. If you like him, follow him. With that being said, that is the end of today's video. I had 2 goals. 1, to make monetization, and 2, to reach 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. And thanks to you guys, we've hit that first mark. Wade the Trucker is finally monetized on YouTube. As for that last goal, you guys can help out. If you like the Ford Crown Victoria, the Ford 4.6, or similar vehicles, take a look at the channel. You might find something that you like. At the end of the day, thank you guys again so much for watching to the end, and I'll see you next time. Grease for peace.
Grease for peace.